Stay with us because NBC News has obtained some never-before-seen video of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's reaction to the January 6th insurrection. The video was shot by one of Pelosi's daughters, a documentary filmmaker, and recently turned over to Congress by HBO. In it, the former speaker says she, quote, takes responsibility for not pushing the National Guard to be more prepared for the events of that day. It was filmed as Pelosi was being escorted to safety before she eventually returned to the Capitol to help certify that day's election results. Let's take a look.
Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
That is not a question of how they had been. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more. Because it's stupid that we should be in a situation like this. Because they thought they had what? They thought these people would act civilized? They thought these people gave a damn? What is it that is missing here in terms of anticipation? They give us a piece of paper that says, walk through the tunnel, don't walk outside.
So in a second video, which was filmed in Pelosi's vandalized office the next day, she refers to then President Donald Trump as a domestic enemy. Let's look at that.
We take an oath to protect our country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. There is a domestic enemy in the White House. And let's not mince words about this.
Congressman, you, of course, have called for a full accounting of what happened that day and those who participated in the riot to be held responsible. Let's get your reaction to these new pieces of video here, and also your thoughts as to Donald Trump seemingly ceding the ground again with lies about the fairness of this election and whether you are worried that something like this could happen again.
Yeah, it brings back some pretty bad memories of that day. I was in the chamber along with a couple of my colleagues because we were up in the gallery, not on the floor. We were some of the last to be evacuated. And, you know, it is painful to me, even in the context of an upcoming election, that this has become a partisan issue. Every American should look again at the tapes of what occurred on January 6th, when Americans, thousands of Americans, attacked the seat of their own democracy at the behest and at the urging of President Donald Trump. And they should reflect on the fact that now there is an attempt to sort of recast history. Now, I'm not sure I would use the same language that Speaker Pelosi used, a domestic enemy, but I will observe that the many thousands of people who attacked the Capitol on that day, motivated by a lie that the election had been stolen and which Donald Trump was doing and still does everything he can to promulgate, even though nobody else believes that lie in any meaningful way, that those Americans attacked the Capitol. And many of them are sitting in jail today for doing so. Of course, the people like Donald Trump and his elite friends have yet to be held accountable. Now, hopefully, Special Prosecutor Smith will address that problem, because it is pretty unseemly that those people motivated by a lie who broke windows and attacked police officers and were coming after us, many of them are sitting in jail today, while those who sort of orchestrated and urged this on, the Rudy Giulianis, the Donald Trumps of the world, have not faced accountability for that. But what's really appalling to me is this effort to recast the January 6th the folks that have been convicted of attacking their own democracy as hostages, as people who are being politically persecuted. That is, that route down that path lies totalitarianism, and Americans should be very, very concerned by the people and the instinct that is generating that complete recasting of a terrible event.